states, and then we're going to talk about them in terms of regions, geography, etc. So in our first meeting, we discussed the cowboy state, Wyoming, and today we are going to talk about the show me state, Missouri, and we are accepting more people here. There are several, well, Maher, just 1 minute. I'll post the link to the attendance in a while. So to start, we have several names for the state of Missouri. So one of the names of this state is the Show Me State, and it is called this way because there are many sights to see in Missouri. There are other names, but this is the most famous one. The state is also called Mother of the West State, and we'll see why in a minute. And then also Missouri is called the Cave State because it's famous for the several caves which are distributed all over the area, and they are huge caves, by the way. So the state is located in the Midwest. That's why it is called the Mother of the Midwest. It is surrounded by Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, and it's unique because it mixes several cultures all together, as we'll see later in the presentation. So as you here see in this picture, the Missouri River, it flows in this state, and the state originally, it takes its name from the name of this river. So it is called Missouri, into the Mississippi River, which makes up the eastern border of the state itself, as you have seen here, as it shows in the picture. I said that there are several cultures mixing in this state, which means that we have two main cultures. We have the Midwestern culture and the Southwest or Southern culture. They are two extreme cultures. They are two different cultures. As you've seen here, to the left, there is a picture of white Americans. The white Americans, they represent the Midwest. And then we have Southerners. There are white Southerners also, but in Missouri, the majority of the Southern traditions are represented by African Americans. If you happen to go to Missouri, you will see that the Mississippi, the border, it separates parts of the state from the other. So in one part, we have white Americans, and in the other part, we have African Americans. I've heard from some of my white American friends that sometimes, I mean, white Americans, they fear going to the other side because, you know, these divisions and slavery, it still exists there. Racism, it is still living in the United States. So African Americans, they still feel depressed because of poverty, because of several reasons. Anyway, so in this area, in Missouri in particular, the side where Black people live, they suffer from poverty. Their houses are deteriorating. Proper education, health conditions are very bad. That's why they still fear angry. So whenever you have a chance to go there, the people, white people, if they happen to go there, they go just for business, not to hang out in the neighborhood, not to mix with other people, because it's very dangerous there. Anyways, the capital of this state is called Jefferson City. So this is the capital, because you know, in the United States, every state has a capital and has its own governor. So the state of Missouri, it has Jefferson City as the capital. For each state, there is something unique. So Missouri is unique because it is the birthplace of the musical genres, such as ragtime, Kansas City jazz, and St. Louis blues. And see here, it is part of the Southern culture as well, because mostly all of these kinds of music are country music. Many beautiful sites are there, or there are in this state. So there are many popular tourist destinations in Missouri, such as Lake of the Ozarks. We have another. All of these lakes, they are attractions for people, specifically for the people who live in the area also. They used to go there for camping. And Americans, they just love camping. Every weekend or every now and a while, they take if they have a vehicle, they take their vehicle. Even they take their animals, their pets, their dogs and cats. And they take their food, the griller, and they go camping. They spend 2 days or 3 days, 3 days in the wilderness. So they go for these places, for lakes and stuff like that, even for parks. There's one famous entertainment park in Missouri, which is called the Branson. When I have seen pictures from this park, personally, I didn't visit this place, but the pictures, they remind me of Disneyland. So it focuses on characters from Disney movies. This land, it's the opposite. I mean, there are many entertaining things, and it's huge. There are certain characters, certain famous people, and one of them is Mark Twain. And by the way, I think in our next sessions, we'll have Dr. Ali talking about Mark Twain. He's a very famous writer, and he has very good short stories. Some of them are adapted for cartoon movies. So this writer is born, or he's originally from Missouri. This is the historical character I've selected for you. We have another modern character who's originally from Missouri, who is Brad Pitt. I also was surprised to know that Brad Pitt is from Missouri. Anyway, so in terms of universities, there are 3 main universities in Missouri State. One of them is University of Missouri. It is located in the city of Columbia. This university is very, well known, and I visited this university in 2018, and I found there almost 200 Iraqi students. It's crowded with Iraqi students. They love it. I don't know why, but it's full of Iraqi students. Maybe the professors, they are nice to them. I don't know. Maybe the programs are good. And mostly the students of engineering, they choose to go to this university. Or maybe it's because the city, because I've seen that many Arabic restaurants are there. There are many Arabs there. The city is big. The only thing that I didn't like about this city and about Missouri in general, in summertime, it's very humid. So it becomes very, very hot, suffocating hot. That's why I didn't like it very much. And the second university, it's a private university. It is called St. Louis University, and it's located in St. Louis as well. And St. Louis is a very, very big city as well, and it's very nice. St. Louis also has the second university, which is a governmental or public university this time, and it is called Washington University. Now, there are several attractions in Missouri. As I've said, it is called the Show Me State, and there is a reason behind that. So the first one is this nice arc. It is called Gateway St. Louis to celebrate the westward expansion of the United States, because it is said that at first when I don't want to call them invaders, but the people who came first to the United States to start their camps there, to start their cities, they had trips originated from one place. So it is said that Missouri was the place where many of these troops started started their journeys to other parts of the United States. So they expanded to other cities. So it was because it's in the center, it was the center of these trips. And then people started going out until they reached other states, and they built other cities and states. So this arc, and it's also it was not built by an American person, by the way. It was built by, I think, a Swedish artist. Yes, I guess, yes. So it towers 63 stories over St. Louis, and it celebrates the westward expansion of the United States. Another site, it is the home of 12,000 and more animals. And the interesting thing about this zoo is that it's free, because if you go to the United States, you will see that most of these sites, they have an entrance fee, and usually this entrance fee is very expensive. For example, I went to an aquarium once, and it costed me, I think, $35 just to enter the aquarium. So the zoo, the same thing. Sometimes there are zoos, small zoos in small cities. They cost you $15 to just to enter and see it. And big zoos, just like these, the maximum, it will be $25 to $35 to get access to them. So the interesting thing is that it's a big zoo. It has many animals to see, and then it's free. This is an interesting entertainment park as well. We said that there is another one, Branson, I think, the one that I mentioned earlier. That was a modern shape park. There is a traditional old shape park, just like this. If you have seen this wheel, it's made all of, looks like, I mean, an old wooden wheel. This is the reason behind that is that this silver dollar city is a historical entertainment park. It is formed and shaped to look like the 1880s style theme. And it has 40 rides, restaurants, 60 shops, and more than 100 resident artists who show off Americans' heritage crafts. So if you are the person who likes history, who likes to look at the American native, or not native, but the original crafts, you go to this park and you will see a lot. So, these parks are very big. So usually people who plan to visit such parks with families or friends, they plan to spend a whole day there, because it will not, I mean, it will take you a whole day in order to visit almost all the places, all the sites of the park. And then there are restaurants, there are ice cream stations, there are different kinds of beverages you can buy there. So you will not worry about food or drinks. We said that one of the famous persons was Mark Twain. So this is the house of Mark Twain, and it's located in Missouri, of course. So if you would like to, and if you are, again, if you are a person of history, go and visit Mark Twain boyhood home and the museum. So what I've seen, just appreciate their history, and they keep everything, every single detail. So if there's a famous writer, a famous character, a famous person who is originally from a city, then they keep his house, his furniture, his clothes, everything related to him or her. This happened also to Mark Twain's house. So they kept it. The original furniture is there, and there are plenty of information. When you read them, you will know a lot about his way of living, how he lived, his writings, his works, etc. Another interesting place is the forest park. If you like nature, then this is your place. It covers more than 1,300 acres, and there are both indoor and outdoor attractions and activities, and of course, several kinds of plants to see there. So this place, I guess, it's worth visiting in spring and summer, maybe in the fall also. Okay. Then there's a big library, of course, and a museum. And this library, it preserves the paper, books, and other historical items related to the former president of the United States, Harry Truman. So it will be interesting to see how politicians lived. So this, I mean, every original document is kept in the United States. It's not available, of course, for everyone, but there are certain collections that are, I mean, reserved to be shown to the public. And this museum includes some of them. Another interesting museum is Nelson Atkins Museum of Art. So in this museum, you can see African, American, ancient, Asian, contemporary, European, and Native American art, as well as photography exhibits and an impressive sculpture park. Before I forget, please go ahead and register your names in the attendance sheet. Here is the link in the comment box. Thank you. So after Nelson Museum, we have the Titanic Museum. This is sad, but it's also worth seeing. So if you would like to experience what it was like to walk the hallways while surrounded by over 400 artifacts that collected from the ship and its passengers. So this museum contains all of these things. And when you get to, if you choose to go to this museum, they'll have you live the experience of a passenger. So they'll treat you like a passenger. I've heard that the people who would like to buy a ticket, he or she will give itself. So they have the design, and then they'll give you a ticket, just like as if you are traveling on the Titanic. So I thought this is interesting as well. Another sad but interesting place to visit is also the Wilson's Creek National Battlefield. Again, if you like history, if you like to live this experience, go to these places. I think it's interesting to know about these things because we've heard about the Civil War a lot. We've read about it a lot, but then to live the experience is something different. So this is a real battlefield, and they kept it just like a museum. So when you go there, you will learn more about the region's role in the Civil War. And then you can visit the National World War I Museum and Memorial. So here the people, the governors of the state, in honor of the men and women who served in World War I, they formed a library memorials association, and then they decided to create the National World War I Museum and Memorial. In fact, I think the idea of this museum is similar to what is initiated in Washington, D.C. There is a memorial also about the Vietnam War. Well, personally, I didn't like that memorial. I mean, there's nothing to visit there except the just like a big monument, so just like this one. And then there is a huge place with all the names of the people who died in the Vietnam War. I mean, I respect the how they treat I mean, their dead people. But again, it's nothing to see anyway. But maybe there are people who like to visit these places. And the last site to see, I mean, the last site I selected to present here, it is called the Ha Tonka State Park. And it's a wonderful wonderland of sinkholes, caves, steep bluff, and spring. There's a huge natural bridge and the ruins of a stone turn of the 20th century castle. This is only one picture, but you can go online and look for the pictures of these sites more and more. There are many, and then you are lucky, you'll get a chance to go to the United States. If you go there, I hope that you will go to Missouri and visit all of these places. Maybe get the chance to talk to them, talk about them to Iraqi people, just like this opportunity. Now, this is the end of the presentation. I'd like to remind you to go ahead and register your name in the attendance sheet. So I posted it on the comment box. One more thing to tell you is that you know that there is a competition that the Language Center will have, and I think it's in the 24th or something. So the competition, many people ask me about the questions that we are going to ask. The questions, they are general, and I tried my best in order to make the questions simple, but some of the questions will be based on the presentations that we hold in the Language Center, just like this one. So maybe one of the questions will ask you, well, which state is called the Show Me State? Or which state is called the Cowboy State? So people who attended these sessions might be able to answer these questions. Just an idea. So if you attended these sessions, pay attention to the details, because if you are participating in the competition, then you will be able to answer questions based on these presentations. Do you have any question, concern, suggestion, comment?